Hey guys, welcome back to the Simple Car Guy channel. Does your car have trouble starting or struggle to crank? Did you get stuck at your friend's driveway because the car wouldn't even crank and you had to push start it just to get home like I did? Well, you're in luck, as today we will be talking about the symptoms as well as show you how to replace a bad starter on the BMW Z4 with the N20 engine. Before you go ahead and order a replacement starter, check your battery to make sure it's not at fault, or at the very least try to jump start the car from under the hood right here. If the battery is all good, how do you actually know if the starter is at fault? Well, there are a few symptoms and telltale signs to help identify the issue. If your car clicks, grinds, or makes a weird noise when attempting to start, you might have a bad starter. Sometimes the issue is intermittent, when the vehicle will start just fine one day and not so much the next day. In some cases, you can even hear the starter engage, but the engine's not moving. And if you keep trying, you might even see some smoke coming out of the starter. In my case, I had none of these. It simply wouldn't turn the engine over, and the starter died with no warning, no noise, no clicking, and no engagement with the engine at all. I scanned the car and it showed this code as well, which simply tells you that the starter was not able to start the engine. With that out of the way, let's get wrenching and replace the starter, which is located on the engine right behind this intake manifold and the charge pipe. Now we have access to the starter. It's just right there behind a bunch of wires. Of course, I'm gonna check all the connections first, make sure it is the starter and not just a loose connection or something like that. So we have this main positive cable going from the alternator to the starter and to this connection right here. And of course, there's gonna be another cable going from here to the battery in the trunk. Nothing's loose here. Everything's very solid, so clearly that's fine. Of course, I have disconnected the battery before I started doing any of this, since we are working with electrical system. Oops. To take the actual starter off, you're gonna need one of these E12 Torx sockets. You can get those on Amazon for not that much money, like a set like this. So you have this bolt here in the back on the transmission, but very easy access, at least on the Z4. I know if this is if you're working on a 3 series or 5 series, it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult to get to. All right, one bolt is out. Kind of a pain to get, out easily, but not too bad. And the second one much easier to take out, and done. Now we're just gonna pull it out. That's it, the starter is out. Let's see if we can tell anything by here. Well, everything looks fine. It's not stock. The gears look really good. All right guys, so it's the next day, but I have my package. My shipment got lost basically, so I had to figure that out, but I have the starter. Let's get it installed and see if it works. Okay, that's finger tight. Let's do the other one. clips that kind of clip onto the plastic, just like that. There you go. Make sure none of the cables are clipped in anywhere or anything like that. Okay, see, this goes over here. Put the connectors back. All right, I think I got all of the connectors. Now I just gotta bolt this back down, reconnect the ECU. We should be done. Of course, I'm gonna torque all of these down to proper torques. I think I can try now. Let's see. Obviously, I didn't connect the charge pipe. Okay, that'll work better. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Of course, it's also a good idea to register your starter reset, and the way you do that is using one of these tools or a BMW tool. You go to special functions, you go to drive, then you go starter exchange, and then you just press F1. I just did it, so it's already reset, but basically you press F1 and it resets the counter for the amount of starts the starter has done. This will help it start properly, and I know the car treats it slightly different depending on how many starts the starter has done. If you'd like to see a full review of this scanner, check out the link in the description.